Welcome to Your Wordless podcast, the space where we redefine success, self-worth, and transformation. I am Nick Nieras, the soul-centered architect of transformation, helping you unlock your highest potential and build a legacy beyond limits. Now, whether it is self-mastery, career breakthroughs, or wealth creation, this is where change begins. Now, let's dive in. Hi, Tim. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
So great to be here. I'm really looking forward to our time together.
Thank you so much for saying yes to be interviewed today. I'd like to introduce myself formally. My name is Nicolette, and I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, I'd like to read your introduction for our listeners today before we dive right into the conversation. So, if you'd allow me. So, hello, everyone. We have Tim Thomas here with us, a man on a mission to transform lives and uplift the world, one night of quality sleep at a time. As a former Special Forces operator, he has channeled his expertise into creating some of Australia's most impactful veteran mental health recovery programs, transforming countless lives along the way. Now, alongside his team, he has raised over $1 million for impactful charities like the Gallipoli Medical Research Foundation, driving advancements in veteran health, and the Queensland Brain Institute, a global leader in neuroscience and mental health research. Tim's personal passion lies in helping people access the transformative power of rest and connection, showing how they fuel resilience, clarity, and fulfillment. Wow, wow, wow. Tim, welcome to the show.
So good to be here. You did really well to read all that.
Well, I try to give a very, very good impression of my guests for my audience. So, Tim, before we dive right into the nitty gritty of things, can you first share with us what was it like growing up as a Tim Thomas?
Okay, so a few interesting things. I was dyslexic. So, but back in the 70s and 80s, the technical term for dyslexia was you're stupid, right? And you tell a kid that enough and they start believing it. The sky's blue, my name's Tim and I'm stupid. So if I don't understand what's going on, I may as well have fun. So I was one of the rowdy kids. I was the one, I probably had a bit of ADHD. I was one of the kids that the teacher was always sort of back in the 70s and 80s, you could hit the kids. So I was always getting hit.
Oh, yeah,
But
I
I
got
was
hit
pretty,
too.
yeah, I was pretty tough. I could handle it. And my father and mother were very generous-hearted people. They worked with some very low socioeconomic environments in the Australian Aboriginal space, and this is back in the day where it was a daily experience of all the negative, colourful language in that area. There was no government funding. There was just people with you know good hearts giving to the community. When the kids at school didn't have food, they went to my mum's place. So I grew up with that, and it was wonderful to be around. Although, as much as I really admired my parents' generosity, I couldn't do it myself. If I was being completely honest, I found myself at home fighting, being roughing and tumble, which was good because the Aboriginal kids that were all my friends, they're quite happy to fight you, and we're all friends. If they didn't like you, they'd let you know. But
They'd ignore you.
yeah, but so growing up in a very sort of physically expressed way was awesome, but I always felt that as soon as I went inside a classroom, I was worthless. And that sense of worthlessness followed me through to my 20s when, I started doing these IQ tests and I started doing really well. And I'm like, is this right? And it turns out that, some of my abilities, I have pattern recognition in the top percentile. And I started observing the pattern I saw was that energy is like money. How you invest it is how you get it back. And so I noticed that whenever I invested energy in myself, into my physicality, I just got more energy back and I felt smarter. And so that led me down a path of led me into professional fighting. But that could have been on the back end of, being raised sort of very strictly religious. And it was turn the other cheek. If someone hits you, you can't hit them back. And you can imagine how quick the other school kids learned that you could punch I was a bigger kid. They could punch me in the face and I wouldn't do
But
anything.
you, yeah, retaliating.
Yeah. So So that sense of worthlessness was compounded by a physical beatings where I'm like, oh, I can't hit back. But then, later in life, to get my power back, I think it could have been me balancing myself out, being this professional fighter where I was, getting my boundaries back in place, you know? Yeah.
So you sort of lost your like parameters. Like you could let people come at you, but then you have this sense of guilt, or I don't know what you call it, that you can't hit back because you're not meant to do that. And especially because you used to be or still are a professional fighter. So it's like, okay, they don't know any better. So let me hold back. Is that what was going on
Well,
inside?
I see. I teach martial arts these days, and I say
Right.
if
Okay.
I'm gonna teach you how to punch and kick, right? But
Right.
it's not about punching and kicking others. It's about controlling the space around you so that all that special stuff inside of you can grow. Because if you're always fearing a threat coming in,
You're just gonna
you end
attract
up you end up spending energy in looking for threats. Okay.
risk assessment,
Yeah.
assessing
Right.
where the threat's gonna come. Survival.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If there's
mindset.
90% of you spent in survival mode looking for threats, you've only got 10% left to grow you. So we're retarding our own growth by holding up all these shields. But
Yeah.
if you can get mastery of your physicality and just have that presence about yourself, you know you've got that boundary where beautiful things can grow. And that's what I tell people. Beautiful things can't grow without boundaries. So boundaries are really important, and as much as my parents gave me the best upbringing they could, there was parts that just didn't work. My thing was anyone could cross my boundary at any time. And so it wasn't until I started, getting my power back and having those boundaries and all those small, subtle things, those seeds of uniqueness, seeds of greatness could actually grow. And part of that boundary was I felt completely worthless. Everyone was
Mm,
telling me, Tim, you're stupid. So getting that boundary back in place so no one could just knock me over and I'd start at zero again.
yeah. Wow, that's so powerful. Like I can relate so much to that because I was this kid where I think I was the opposite, where always just a one track minded kid growing up. Okay, if I wanted to achieve something, if I wanted something, I know that I must prove, again, the word prove myself to get to it. So it's like you're not, I felt not enough having to having somebody else to constantly validate my achievements. That's a really vicious cycle. So until something happened, my own relationship, my own turmoil, and at the height of my career I lost that, and then I experienced burnout. That's when I realized that, okay, I need to start assessing where I should put my boundaries. So my sister, because there's just two of us, three, yes, but the closest to me, she'd said to me, like, growing up, you're always a selfish one. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that. Uh, But then when life humbled me, and then that's when I started reassessing, okay, maybe I should, really listen to what other people have to say, or what about their needs, think about their needs. So but then I went from one end of the spectrum to the end of the spectrum where I was like really focusing on myself, and then at one point, like 3 4 5 years ago, really just giving myself up for people, and I didn't know the balance of it. So I was struggling then. Right now I think I kind of got on my feet up again, back up again, and I've started to really plan that, that boundaries that you mentioned, and it's a tough one to unlearn and relearn beliefs. And I love that you really brought that really good point, Tim.
No, and I appreciate you sharing so openly, Nick. And you've
Thank you.
been on a hell of a journey. And the thing is, there's a really good saying, whether you believe in God or not. If you want to see God, reveal Him to others. If you want to feel God's love, give God's love to others. And I feel like this is what you're doing. With this very podcast, the sound of your voice interacting with all those other people. And what I'm going to tell you next, you're going to really love, because my background. I served in the Australian Special Forces, and when we're overseas, we used to attack the enemy's center of gravity. You've got to find the enemy's what's called center of gravity, and once you attacked it, you off-centered them, and basically they become very suggestible, fatigued, and you could push them anywhere you wanted them to go if you could attack their center of gravity. And strangely enough, it could be something as simple as attacking their sleep. All right, because we knew if we took their sleep out for 3 nights, it would mess them up better than a bullet. All right.
I
Yeah.
love
We are all on thin ice. Nick, the difference between you and me functioning normally and us being locked up and going blah 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 in a padded cell is 3 nights sleep. Yeah. Okay. But that's not the bit you're going to love. I come back to my home country, the modern world, right? And all these people aren't sleeping properly. And I'm like, well, there's no clear enemy here. What's being attacked? And in my observation, our center of gravity was being attacked. And our center of gravity as humans is our sense of self-worth. If you can attack someone's sense of self-worth, you can push them anywhere you want to go. And it becomes normalized because we've been attacked since we're knee high. You can't feel good about yourself without those shoes. And if we are the type of people that we often get affirmed by what we do, and what we do becomes who we are. Our sense of self-worth is attached to our doing. So I always had trouble when I did nothing, when I had a rest day, when I was doing nothing. There was always a struggle because my sense of self-worth was attached with what I do. So if I wasn't doing anything for somebody, obviously I wasn't worth anything. I was putting my sense of self-worth outside of me.
mic drop, Tim, mic drop. I just wanted to echo, it's like because you constantly have to prove, or in another word, be productive, that's when you're contributing back to the world. That's at least before I used to think of it that way. But right now, you just need to be, you just need to control or master your own energy within you, and then and fill your own cup, and then you'll be able to serve others, more fully.
Like I said, energy is like money. How you invest it is how you get it back. And so I don't believe that everyone's born special. I believe everyone's born with startup capital. And how you invest it is how you get it back. Now, Destiny's Path isn't like this mysterious thing because you've got a unique energy signature inside of you. And let's just say, for example, they might invest $100 worth of energy into playing guitar. Now, I don't play guitar, but if someone who's got that unique energy signature invests in that and they get like $1,000, that's something I've got to do more of. Okay. And that's creating an abundance inside of them. That's creating a powerful connection inside of them. And my favorite saying these days is I don't give of myself anymore. I give of my abundance. Okay. So I've mastered my energy signature to the point where I know how to create an abundance inside of myself. So this morning I was up on the roof of my house, watching the sunrise, doing breath work. And then I just did like a run, right? So I activated this physical body and that filled my cup up overflowing. And so now I can be very generous very easily because I noticed that, when I tried to be generous from a position of adequacy, let's just say I'm at 100% and I give someone 90% and I give someone 10%, then I'm like, you better do something with that 10% because I'm down to 90% and I've got an expectation of what you should and shouldn't do with that 10% I've given you. But if I've connected powerfully to myself, I'm at 500%. I can give away 20% a day. They can love it, hate it, tell me to get lost. It doesn't matter. I'm in touch with something so much more powerful than what can be taken from me. And we've all been taken from. All right. But picture this. You've only got, let's just say, I'll own this. There was a time in my life I only had 50 cents worth of energy and someone took 25 cents. I'm like, I've got to get that back. And I try and revenge it. And there's no point because they only took because they're a zero. You can't get anything back from a zero. Hurt people. You chase them, you just get more hurt. And I chased that 25 cents for months and years. I forgot the fact that I could earn $1 million the next day. And my goal for my life and everyone I meet, I want them to live like energetic millionaires because then you see the minuses in their perspective. Like, okay, you've taken from me. You keep that 25 cents. I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow and you've just missed out on the rest of my life. Because I've been that guy for years, chasing that 25 cents, completely forgetting about the sovereign resources that are inside of me, knowing how to multiply it for myself, knowing how to have my sense of self-worth as a sovereign thing, not attached to anything outside of yourself. So picture this, before you even leave the house, you've given yourself everything you need. And then when you leave the house, it's all icing on the cake. It's just a victory lap. If I could really drill into this, I don't want to use flowery words here, Nick.
I'm emotional right now,
No,
Tim.
you need a glass of water?
Okay, Tim. Yes, proceed.
Because whether you think that some people say that humans, we're flesh and we're spirit. Okay. Some people say there's parts of us that are seen and there's parts of us that are unseen. And if I'm really going to get personal, if someone was looking at you, Nick, could they see all of you, all of who you are by just looking at you?
No.
Okay. So let's just work off the idea that yourself and everyone listening, we've got parts of us that are unseen, very large parts of us that are unseen. And how we nourish those unseen parts determined what kind of life we have. If we just start nourishing the seen parts that other people see, then we're chasing someone else's idea of who we are and what we should be doing. If we look inside and we nourish those parts, those unseen parts, because I know myself, when there's unseen parts of me going malnourished, my physical body will get confused. Oh, there's malnourished parts, and all of a sudden for me, I'll just start eating and drinking more because there's an unseen part of me screaming for nourishment, and my physical body goes, I guess I just eat and drink more to somehow fill that gap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or look at Tom. He's across the road. He looks like he's doing really well. He's got a really good car. Maybe my unseen parts will be nourished by chasing after what Tom's got.
You're getting a nail right in the head here. God. And this became like a therapy or speaking event. It's like you speaking to me, and I hope, and I'm pretty sure you're famous, and I know this is why you're doing what you're doing right now, getting on podcasts, so they can just at least get this, relate first to your story and implement them. Just have an inventory check, like what am I doing right and what am I doing wrong with my energy? Because energy is the most expensive thing that one is given.
Can I jump in there, Nick?
Yeah,
Think of
please.
if you had think of your energy portfolio like a shares portfolio. Map it out, and some shares, wow, that's really returning well, and other shares, you know what? No, that's not. Why would I keep investing in that? And it's amazing the things that you can do with your body that tops you up, and then there's things you can do with your body that takes from you.
Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Worthless podcast. Now, if these real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
There's people you can interact with that gives you a massive return. There's people you interact with that takes from you. And I do believe that while we're in this physical state, the amount of physical energy we have in our body allows those unseen parts of us to connect more powerfully. So I see our physical bodies a bit like a combination lock. You line it up one way, you line it up the other, and then you get access to the good stuff, which is inside of us, essentially. So I know that if I get the right amount of exercise, all of a sudden everything gets connected, and I can bring who I am fully into the world. And so when I'm out, running around getting sweaty, it's not just me running around. It's everyone I'm going to meet that day. It's everyone I'm going to talk to that day. Every single step that I'm taking is benefiting everyone in my world. And so if all I had to do is put one sweaty foot in front of the other to supercharge every interaction I've got today, would I do it?
Of course.
Hell yeah, right?
1000%.
That's a whole lot more powerful than, I don't like my butt, so I have to go running. And every single step I'm telling myself my butt is terrible. You know what I mean?
Okay, so now please take us through this incredible way to relax one's body with just 3 breaths.
Enough talk, time for some action. And everything I do, Nick, is powerful, positive, and permanent. Okay. And permanency is the most important one because there's a lot of powerful and positive stuff out there. You know, the motivational show comes to town like the circus. Everything's great, rah, rah. But then a week later, what's changed? So I withdrew from public life about 2 years ago when I realized I wasn't permanent. And so I've changed my structure so that when people engage, I can give them stuff to access after we meet. But dialing back to what we're doing right now, I'm about to give everyone an exercise where they can completely relax their body in 3 breaths. And if you get nothing from this podcast, but you get this, you are going to be a captain of your own physical body. And when something comes in, you're going to be able to take those 3 breaths. You're going to get yourself back into a sovereign state. And you know what? This might not just be for you. This could be for someone you care about, somebody who needs to get back into control of their body. So I'm not just talking to you, Nick. I'm not just talking to all your listeners. I'm talking to all the people that are going to be interacting, and you're going to have this super powerful tool that I'm going to show you. You're going to experience it, and you're going to be able to pay it forward into the lives of so many. So enough said. Let's start with the action.
Let's see.
So all we do to start with is this technique needs to be done seated, not driving, not operating heavy machinery, in a safe place. Don't be cutting up carrots because we're going to be dropping into some deep states of relaxation. Some people drift where their body just sort of wobbles. All right. So do this in a safe place. And all we're going to do is start by breathing in and out. Okay. The first step towards happiness is being aware of your breath. So that first breath that you took, you are aware that you're breathing. Now what we're going to do, Nick, is breathe in, but then breathe in again and again and again and again. Okay? All right. So let's just breathe in again and again and again and again and again. And just let that go. Good. Good. Now, did you notice a little bit of extra space opening up here?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to call that your secondary inhale. So you got your primary inhale here. Your secondary inhale is up here. And let's smooth that out right now. So let's breathe in and then just breathe in again and again and again. Nice and smooth. Breathe in and then breathe again and again and again. And let it out. Very good. Now, what I love about my job is I introduce people to the amazing resources we have in our own body. We all own bodies, right? But we just don't know what they do. Now, what you don't know, Nick, is in your fingers and thumbs, you got a little turbo button. All right. So we're going to breathe in. And when it comes to the secondary inhale, you're going to hit those turbo buttons, and that's going to help expand that secondary inhale. Okay. You ready for this? So what we're doing is we're simply pinching our thumbs into our fingers as hard as we can when it comes to that secondary inhale. So we're going to blow it all the way out, exhale, exhale, exhale. Start breathing in, then hit your turbo buttons and open it up even more. And just let that go. Did you notice that little boost?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew, right? Our bodies are incredible.
Wow.
Okay?
So that was my nitro speed?
Pretty much. All right.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Tim, can we do that again, like one more time?
We're not even a third of the way through.
Okay.
This is going to be such a juicy thing. You're going to, like I said, this is going to go beyond words. All right. The reason why breath work is so powerful, Nick, is if you think of us as living organisms, before we were sentient, before we were putting, paintings on cave walls, before we had this thinking mind, we were breathing. Before we were speaking, we were breathing. That deep ancient wiring of breath lives deep inside of us. And when we breathe correctly, we access that. It goes deeper than words. It goes deeper than thoughts. And by the end of this, if we do this right, you will have an experience that words can't properly define. Okay. So we're going to breathe in. We're going to hit those turbo buttons and we're going to lift our chin and look up. Okay. So I'll give you a little demonstration. We blow it out, start breathing in, hit the turbo buttons, look up, raise the chin and hold it, and then let it out with like a sigh. Cool?
Okay.
All right. So everyone listening, and Nick, just blow it all the way out, 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 out. Have your turbo buttons ready. Start breathing in. Hit those turbo buttons. Raise that chin. Look at the ceiling. Look up, raise that chin, raise that chin. hold it, wriggle your shoulders like you're stretching in the bed, and then let it out with a juicy sigh.
Oh my God. I transported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know words cannot explain properly when we tap into these deep parts of ourselves. And the thing is, you've had that ability your whole life, Nick. How, are you feeling okay?
No, I felt like I was about to faint.
Be gentle on yourself. Be gentle on yourself here.
But it was like, I'd look like a realm. Like I saw something. And I was like, I was kind of scared because I was about to fall off because I don't have anything on the side. It's like, wow, you
Are you feeling better or worse right now?
feel lucid.
Yeah. Can I offer a reason for that? Okay, so when we breathe, we take on the nature of air. So I invite, you can't hold air. Air cannot be held. So when we breathe correctly, we take on the nature of air. And the air that we breathe in does not allow us to hold onto our tension, our mental, rigidness, the rigidness in our body. So that's the nature of air. It's obvious, but when we take it on, it's like a wow experience because for the first time ever, we're not hanging on to anything. All right. And this stuff's free, by the way. It's free. You don't need a script from your doctor.
I think you're my new guru, Tim. I gotta try that again. So when should
We're
I
not
try
even
that?
halfway
Like,
through. We are not even halfway through.
oh no?
It's going to get better. Okay. All right.
Okay.
But on this occasion, I'm just going to get you to have one hand holding the desk and just use one turbo button, just so you can steady yourself. Okay. Because like I said, classically, this can create a bit of a drift and, sometimes your body just goes really floppy. It's not bad, but you want to be in a position where you are supported. So just have one hand on the bench. But before I go there, what I need you to, yourself and all the people listening to, is I call this secondary inhale your breath of possibility. So when something's feeling impossible, you hit those turbo buttons and make it possible again. Because look what happens when I'll turn myself on the side. When I'm feeling down and low, I'll roll my shoulders forward. Okay. Things are impossible when I'm rolled forward, but when I breathe in, I straighten my structure.
Yes.
And physiologically, the way our energy systems work is your nerves that carry energy to your muscles, they work like hose pipes. Okay. And if you pinched a hose, there's less water going through, less power going through to your muscles. And when we're all hunched over, things are hard because things are hard when your hoses are pinched. Your power hoses are pinched, right? So when we open everything up, everything's aligned. Everything's flowing. The natural abundance that we have is coming to us because we're no longer blocking it.
Yes.
Cool?
Yeah. I'm already thinking like when am I gonna do this? Like I maybe after the interview, definitely I'm gonna do it sitting down right on the bed. Now I feel like completely relaxed and I'm ready to take a power nap. This is what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm ready to conquer the world afterward. Okay.
No, that is so good. So you asked a good question. How often should I do breath work? So when I told I see you're talking to a guy who lost 6 years of his life to pills. When I said, "Hey doc, I can't sleep," he threw a pharmacy at me. And I lost 6 years. I don't remember much from that time. No one told me that breath work could activate what's called your PNS, parasympathetic nervous system, the body's ability to hit the brake, slow down, and heal itself. If we don't activate the brake system, we never heal. And then we start wondering why I'm over the hill at 30. Well, yeah, you're going to be over the hill at 30 if you're not resting properly. We just think it's normal to cash in tomorrow to live today. So think of performance like a pyramid. Top of the pyramid, you could be, you're hitting your targets, you're making bank, you're performing as an athlete, whatever that top of the pyramid is for you. But then the bottom of the pyramid is rest, recovery, healing art forms, the things that activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay. And if you've got your sense of self-worth attached to the top of the pyramid, people only like me when I'm performing hard. So think of an athlete. I'm only getting my self-worth when I'm running around the track. So he has to keep running around the track. They can't have a day off because it's not a performance thing. It's a self-worth thing. But they don't know that they're cashing in there tomorrow to live today. So the bottom of the pyramid, the wider the bottom, the higher the top. But here's the thing, the bottom the rest, recovery, healing looks nothing like. It's the opposite space to be in than being at the top. But if I've got that, my survival for my sense of self-worth attached to me being in a really tight state and pushing really hard and bleeding from the eyeballs, then, it's really hard for me to change out of that state into this,
Yes. Yes.
okay? So this is what I love about breath work. It just cuts to that place that you become sovereign again. I can nourish me. So this is it. Imagine before you leave the house, you nourish all those unspoken parts of you, with that breath. And then the rest of your day is a victory lap. This is just gold. Okay.
I think my life would change after this. The trajectory of my life would change after this. I think this is what I've been looking for.
I can't do what you do, Nick, but if I can improve the quality of your sleep, rest, and the bottom of the pyramid, then, like I said, you are not going to age like everyone else ages. We can still perform at the top of the pyramid as we age. We just need to widen the base. Okay. And you're talking to a guy who's over 50, and I can throw down with my 20-year-old son who's just a beast. Okay. And the promise I made to him was when he has a 20-year-old son, that I'm going to be throwing down just as hard. Because kids, they don't listen to what you say. They listen to what you do. So every time I'm doing a workout or lifting, running, whatever, I'm remembering my promise to my grandson that hasn't been born yet. And so it's a very different motivational space to be in when I'm not doing it because I feel like I'm worthless. I'm doing it to affirm my worth, and I'm going towards something that lights me up, makes me feel super powerful, gives me more love, more peace, more joy. But it's really hard to go in and see that value inside of yourself if you don't know how to access and nourish those deep parts of yourself. It's really hard to see your own value when you're in a continual state of fatigue. So things are going to get even better. Can you believe it? All right. So
There you go.
you've got your breath. Have another glass of water. I go.
I was just about to ask for
And do you have any fruit available nearby?
fruit.
Any kind of sugary fruit? Because what happens is
Yeah, I have a just within reach like this. Okay.
so have that ready afterwards, because the reason you're picking up on this so quickly, and I hope that the listeners are too, is I'm not telling you anything I'm inventing. I'm sharing with you something I've discovered. This stuff exists. It might have taken me 10 years to find it, but I can help you get hold of it in far less time. Okay, this is what a master does. He knows his energy is not enough for two people, but he's connected to something super powerful, and I can help you connect to that in far less time. And then you're going to be able to have that. You don't need a resale. I mean, it's, we can hang out, but you don't need me anymore, and that's when you're working with a universal truth, life is so much easier, because it's not like I have to get people to be a version of Tim, because I'm fortunate this version of Tim has found something powerful, and I've spent the time mastering that connection, because and I've spoken enough. Let's go to the next level.
No, I love it, Tim. Like, are you speaking at events? Like, we need to get you out there. I would love to have you on my.
I'd be happy to go back to Saba and run an event with you. That'd be
Yes.
amazing. I will dust out my visa, because it's so hard to get a good curry in Australia, I tell you.
Yes, please. When you're down here, just let me know. I would love to. And I'm thinking already in my mind. I'm already thinking about setting up an event, because it is in the works right now. Setting up events, getting some of my really, really, experts on my guest shows, on my show, and then have them have a segment for my speaking event, and do your thing. Like, please light up the world. So I am working on that, and I think you would be great. I'm thinking of having a retreat. Yes, I'll be reaching out to you. I love it.
Becoming a podcast host was a natural extension of my second act. And after spending 15 years in the corporate world, I've transitioned to helping individuals overcome challenges like navigating tough relationships, career burnout, and aligning their mission with their soul's calling. By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Now, let me ask, are you facing challenges like struggling to reprogram your mind to attract wealth, weight issues that feel like a constant yo-yo, insomnia or restless nights from daily worries, or just a lack of confidence in public speaking? If the answer is yes, visit www.thenicknearasholisticlifestyle.com and grab a free hypnosis audio of these common struggles. It's a sneak peek into how my coaching works. Are you feeling shy? Don't be, because I'm as real as it gets. Let's connect on Instagram and LinkedIn and start your transformation today.
Well, I mean, you're going to have 3 breaths. Imagine what you could do with 30. Imagine what you could do with 30 minutes. Imagine what you could do with 3 hours. Like, it goes far beyond what words can describe. See, I do about 2 hours of breath work a day.
2 hours
2 hours. So
of what I just did.
very
because-
similar. Very similar.
Very similar.
What people are going to learn, Nick, is that we don't own lungs. We own a medicine cabinet with a lot of different shelves. So you breathe a certain way, your body elicits a certain chemical. So when I'm working with high school students, I'll show them how to breathe past their exam stress and apply their minds. When I'm working with corporates, they like a quick afternoon pick-me-up. When I'm working with people who want to sleep, better, I'll show them how to sleep better. When people are struggling to get out of bed, I'll show them how to breathe to get out of bed. So learning this self-medication, that basically you become a sovereign person when you're back in control of your own prescription house, which is this. You feel me? So even if people just take what we've learned about that, okay, because these little turbo buttons, I also call them circuit breakers. So when I'm out in the world and I'm annoyed at something, I don't like waiting in queues or something, and I'm getting stressed at something, I'll hit those turbo buttons, these circuit breakers. I'll have crap in my head that I don't want to be there. It's like I'm trying to suck it through my nose and dispel the crap that I don't want in my head. You feel me?
Yeah.
So when there's something in your head you don't want there, a tactile squeeze of your fingers, and you will break that rumination point. Okay, you know what rumination is? You have a thought, it's taken up 2% of your head, you focus on it, goes to 4, 8, 16, 32, and before it takes over everything. When there's that stuff ruminating in my head, circuit breaker. And I know I can breathe, but I need those fingers to pinch and go, get that stuff out. Yeah, this is my affirmation. This is my self-medication. This is you can call it a morphine button or whatever it is, that this is now your power again. Okay, as you kick around, when you're in control of your chemicals, and you're a sovereign person, you're no longer losing energy, you're actually gaining energy. So imagine, the day going on, you're actually getting stronger, as opposed to your day going on, oh, that bad thing happened. That bad thing happened. I feel so weighed down, and that's why before I knew this stuff, I just had to drink half a carton of grog before I spoke to my then wife. Okay. I call her my then wife, not my ex-wife, because I stand for a positive future for her. But that was what was happening to me. I didn't know how to self-medicate through my breath. It was just load upon burden upon burden. Drink. All of a sudden, I got out of jail for a bit and I could interact with people. So, what we're doing right now is one of the first steps to you seeing just how amazing our bodies are made.
I'm about to witness a miracle.
So with that said, what we're going to do is when we do that breath of possibility, our mouth is going to be closed, but I really want you to snort it as hard as you can through your nostrils. Okay, because you've got a big sinus cavity here. And when I was a professional fighter, my coach used to say, before you do a combo, because that'll oxygenate your brain through your sinuses. So we're pulling air directly into our brain. Now, I don't know if that's scientifically true or not, but it worked in combat. Okay, so we're going to blow it out, and then we're going to really deliberately flare the nostrils and snort all the good drugs that are in the air with
my God.
It'll feel kind of strange, but this is another level of access that we give of self medication. So we're going to blow it all the way out now. Blow it all the way out. Start breathing in through your nose. Hit those power buttons. Snort the nose. Snort. Look up. Give it a wriggle around. Wriggle, and let it out with a sigh. Nice big sigh. Don't rush it. Just let it go in. Yeah, that part of Nick probably hasn't been accessed in a while. we get to connect to those parts that we normally step over with a certain amount of anxious energy. That anxiousness stops us from dropping into who we really are, stopping us really shining our light, bringing our peace into the world. And in that place, we're going to build upon this because you've experienced the breath of peace, a breath of possibility. The breath of peace is down where our belly button is. Okay. The lower third of our lungs is where all the best gas exchange is because our little airbags called alveoli, they're very vascular down low. You've got a lot of the best gas exchanges down low. So Nick, in a second, we're going to do just what we did. A big snort, a big open. We're going to hold it. We're going to wriggle it. We're going to hold our breath and make sure you're hanging onto the bench. Have one hand on the bench and one hand on your belly. And we're going to hunch forward. So we're going to be hunching forward. Our head's going to be down towards our knee. And we're going to let it out we're going to try and push it out, but our mouth will stop it. So it'll be like a squeezing your stomach, okay? A bit like a pressure cooker on the stove, and you're just letting a bit of gas out a little bit at a time, okay? It's like almost like a cat hissing, just like that, perfectly. And the longer you can have that, the more that oxygen is going to be exchanging with your blood supply, okay? Again, have one hand grip firmly onto the bench, okay? So with one hand gripped onto the bench, one hand free for the power button, we're going to exhale all the way out, out, mouth closed, breathe in, hit your power buttons, raise your chin, raise your chest, snort, hold it, wriggle, and then just let your head fall forward, holding your breath, let your head fall forward, grabbing onto the bench, head forward, your knees, hands on your belly, one hand on your belly, one hand on your belly, and then let it out with a for as long as possible. Perfect. Hang on to the bench. Let it out with a and as you exhale, let all that tension from your body fall away. Your body's like a deflating toy that it's like you're deflating and all the air is leaving your body. Nick, I'm going to invite you to do that 2 more times in your own way, and you'll find that each time you do it, it'll be just as enjoyable because you're on a chair without sides. Just have one hand holding onto the side. So blowing it all the way out, almost bend. Breathing in through your nose, hit those turbo buttons, snort, open that chest, feel that chest opening like a flower. Your chest is opening like a flower. It feels so good. Now holding your breath, just fall your head forward, just relax everything forward, let your head fall forward, nice and relaxed, head forward, let your head hang forward, hand on your belly, feel that air down low, and then let it out with a push it down low, let it out slow. Your whole body is deflating like a blow-up toy, and all the tension is leaving your body, leaving your shoulders, leaving your neck, your upper back, your face. It's all just falling away. Then when you're ready, we'll do this one last time, blowing it all the way out, and just give yourself permission to let this in. Okay, we just have to let it in. This is an act of receivership. Maybe for the first time, you're letting your breath do what it's supposed to do. This is our birthright. This is what we're born for. Okay, so just give your conscious mind permission for this breath to take you on this journey. Give your unconscious mind permission to take you on this journey. Just create a pathway for this to come in fully. Because this is your breath. This is your birthright. You're completely safe. So I just invite you to blow it all the way out. Exhale. Have one hand on the bench, one hand ready to hit the turbo button. Start breathing in. Hit your turbo button. Snort through your nose. Wriggle your shoulders. Feel your chest is opening up. Feel how good it is to have a big open flower on the front of your chest in the sun. And then just holding your breath, let your head fall forward. Let everything relax. Put your hand on your belly. Have one hand on the bench. Squeezing the bench, squeezing your belly, and letting it out with a super slow. Let your body deflate. Feel that tension just falling away with your breath. Let your body respond to the oxygen. You just have to get out of its way. And now, Nick, I invite you just to keep your eyes closed for a second and sit back in your chair. and let that chair take your weight. That chair was built to support you. Let your muscles be supported by that chair. So often in our tension, we don't allow ourselves to be fully supported. We don't allow ourselves to be held. It's like our own tension is our own way of trying to support and hold us, but it doesn't work like that. We only feel held, we only feel supported when we let go of that tension and we allow our muscles and bones and everything to be held. And that chair's probably feeling like the most comfortable chair you've ever been in right now. And I just invite you to put your fingers on the top of your head and just massage the top of your head. Fingers on the top of your head, massaging the top of your head. Both fingers, and really dig your fingertips into the top of your head. And feel how good it is just to massage the top of the head. And I invite you to breathe. Breathe into that breath of possibility as you massage the top of your head. And it just feels so good. And I invite you to put your thumbs into the base of your skull, into the base of your skull, base of your skull, like the back of your head. Feel where your neck meets your scalp and massage that area. Massage that area. Very good. It'll go from an owie to an ooey. I invite you just to grab your ears and do circles with your ears. It's amazing how much tension is held in our ears. Grab different parts of your ears and do massages on them. It feels really good just to get rid of all that stuck energy. Now I invite you, just put your hands on your forehands like so and squeeze down your forehand. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze as hard as you can, like grab it and really squeeze it. Okay? Feel what it is to squeeze those forehands. Okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to flick our fingers. It's like we're flicking water off them. Flick as fast as you can, like you're trying to flick off any negative energy. Flick, flick, flick. We're going to flick really hard for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I invite you to hold a ball. Hold a ball like this. Now push on it. That's your positive energy. That's a positive energy ball. Okay, that's your energy. And what we're going to do is take a deep breath and make it even bigger. Notice, feel how big it is. Okay, very good. Let it go. And then we're going to breathe in and we're going to take this golden ball and have it big enough for our whole body to be in. You're surrounded by this, your positive energy golden ball. Just take a few really big breaths, really charge up that ball that you're sitting in. Raise that chin, breathe into it. Feel how good it is to surround yourself with that good positive energy. This is your energy. This is your birthright. Reclaim it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take one last breath in and we're going to push that ball inside our chest. We're going to breathe all that good energy into our lungs. You ready? Breathing in, pushing it into your chest. Now wriggle it, push it to one side, push that golden air to the other side, push it around the place. Feel how you can push it up to your arms and your legs and it's going all through your body. It feels absolutely amazing, and let it out with a good sigh.
Wow, what a way to start my new year. This is gonna go into my precious, precious time for myself. I meditate, but this is a game changer. This is spectacular. Tim, I might even quote you when I go on other podcast show as a guest to speak.
Yeah, just let it in. It'll go to places. And Nick, I can see you're a very giving person. And I want to share with you something. And it literally came to me this morning when I'm on my rooftop. Because, I did my breath work, I got some good energy, and I automatically went to, similar to what you were going through, I'm going to do this. I want to do this for this person. I want to set up this structure and do, right? But then I had I want to pour into all these other things, whether it's an action or a person. I'm going to pour into everyone else. But then I literally, it was kind of like a voice saying, let me pour into you first. I'm like, that's odd. And then I literally opened up myself and I just breathed it in. And I kid you not, I started crying. I was like blubber crying, and there was this light wasn't just filling me. The more I breathed, the more light that I had. This light went back to previous versions of Tim that were hurt as a child. And I was breathing light into that 6-year-old version that was told he was stupid. And that 6-year-old version of me started illuminating with this golden light the more I breathed. And I no longer hated the people around me. I was there to heal the people around me with this golden energy, because they didn't know what they were doing. And I went through this thing, and all these tears were coming down my face. I think I've discovered something here that the people of this world can access. Breathing that to all those parts of you that need healing. Even breathing it into my ancestors that possibly passed things on to me. And so these are the places that we can go that is beyond spoken word. It's this realm, like you said, that we get to go into.
That was divine. That was the source speaking to you. And the divine source is speaking to me through you right now. Because I believe that this is what you've been called to do. And I think not that I think I know this is what I'm called to do it. It's just like I remember praying and hoping. I know what I need. I know what I need to do, but I'm just waiting. I remember saying this mantra just few days back. Keep working while waiting on the Lord. While waiting. And it's like, and I've been asking for that clarity the past few days. I'm going to let go and I'm going to surrender, but I'm going to be this vessel for you to just give me what I need, what's necessary for me to carry out your mission or your will. And I think,
what if this world just needed you to have it, let God, the divine being, pour into your life richly? Could you receive it?
I'm worthy of tell you. So you are the perfect person. Like when I saw your profile, I'm like, I gotta get him on my show. And turns out to be, you're the one that actually changed the trajectory of everything. So I thank God. I thank you, Tim, because this is not a coincidence. I know it. And I love to meet you in person, face to face. So tell us, Tim, where can people find or just experience this goodness?
So this goodness, as you experience it, it doesn't take long. It's free, easy to access. But what often happens is we know what we're supposed to do, but then we get tired and we forget it. So what I've created is an online product that just falls out of your phone exactly when you need it. So anyone with a phone can look up breathwork, one word, in bed. That app, once you get in there, it'll get to know you first, but it'll ask you two questions. When do you want to sleep? And when do you want to wake up? And we take care of the rest after that. So you'll have these notifications falling out of your phone when you need them. So when you need to, breathe, you hit that button, it'll guide you into the most amazing sleep. And it's really good, especially if you're traveling, because it turns any bed into a cloud. And then getting out of bed in the morning, it's a very different type of breath work. There's body activation. I often wake up feeling like lead. Breath work transforms that lead into gold. So these really powerful micro habits are best applied when they're done regularly. And that's what this Breathwork in Bed app will do. I'm all about sleep. I can't do what you do, but if I can help you sleep better, have you wake up better, then you're going to bring your gifts into the world.
I want to have you on next month or the next 3 months and talk about how to get out of bed with that different breath work. So my promise to you and to our listeners is that I will do what I just did live every day. And I'm going to report to you, Tim, and our listeners what I've felt and my breakthroughs. And then if it's possible to have you on again for that.
It'll be fine. I love circling back. Look, you and me will just catch up in 7 days regardless. My request is that you just, there's a 28-day free trial on the app. It will not cost you anything, right? Obviously, it checks if there's a credit card attached to your account. It always does, but you won't get charged for 28 days of using it. My request is when you go in there and you say what time you want to sleep and what time do you want to wake up, you will get what it is to go to sleep with your breath and then wake up with your breath. And there's some bonus footage in the wake up routine, but I won't give that away yet. And in 7 days, you can let me know what worked, what didn't work, and you'll be able to speak with authenticity about your experience of connecting with your breath twice a day. And if all we had to do was connect with our breath twice a day to have an amazing day and an amazing sleep, would we do it? And so that thing makes it super, super easy. Breath work in bed. Look it up, put it on your phone, give it a go, and see what your life is like when your sleep in quality improves. When you're getting out of bed, feeling connected, amazing. You know what? Yeah, you look like a different person, by the way. You look like a different person. The Nick that was on an hour ago,
Right?
now you look fully relaxed. Like you would. I encourage you to watch yourself in the first 5 minutes of the interview and the last 5 minutes post that breathing exercise. Your face looks different.
I feel different.
How easy was that? You don't hear about this stuff because no one's making money from it. Okay. And you only get it from authentic, powerful conversations like this one. So what I'm going to do for you and your listeners, I'm going to send you a little video link for that breath of peace and possibility to coach you through it. I'm also going to give the first 20 people that click the link my audio book that gives the breath work in bed, story, background, and some really cool breath work techniques afterwards. Of course, I've got my socials, but the world doesn't need more social media. It just needs people having a good night's sleep. So my preference for people is to download the app, find out what it is to sleep properly, and become a sovereign person.
I feel different. So Tim, is it okay? I can take a nap right after this. Like I feel like I need to just experience this goodness. Like my cells, they're all rejuvenated and they just need a
Reconnected. You
yeah.
remove the blockages. We connect naturally, but we carry blockages without knowing it because everyone's carrying blockages. We just think it's normal, So, but my only recommendation, Nick, is before you go to sleep, drink some water, have a little bit of salt and salt. Yeah. So that's sea salt, right? Salt is
Right.
my sugar, and that will then allow your cells to hold the right amount of hydration. Pink salt is really good, but just any kind of raw salt, and then lots of water, and then your body is going to be able to circulate that. Because if we've removed blockages and you're reconnecting, there could be some waste in there. Sometimes when I'm doing a breathwork session and I've really done some shifting without sounding gross, sometimes my pee really stinks because it's like I've been hanging on to something that passes through. All right. So hydrating yourself fully so you wake up and you can just, clean out your system and you're not hanging on to this. Okay. And have something like some fruit just to allow to feed your brain again, because when you're connecting and you've got those emotions going on, it depletes the fuel in your brain and your brain runs off sugar. So a lot of people after breath work, if they don't nourish themselves, they binge on junk food because they don't know that their brain is tired and that they didn't nourish it with water, salt, and some fruit, if you know what I mean. So that's the total care package.
This is invaluable. You get this back, your whole life changes. Whatever goals that you want to achieve, you're going to achieve it maybe double, faster.
You will not age like everyone else ages.
Yeah.
I will say that now. Presence
You
of
don't look like 50, Tim.
I get no shortage of pleasure when I'm throwing down with 20-year-olds, and I'm throwing down. I'm taking names, and they're like, "How old are you?" And they're like, "Holy shit,
You're doing something right. I gotta get on that bandwagon." Wow, Tim, this has been amazing. So, Tim, tell us, what are you working on currently, and what is next for you?
Okay, I'm working on the initial goal of Breathwork in Bed is getting 50,000 active users. So 50,000 people getting good night's sleep. And I did the numbers. Poor sleep, if there was 50,000 people sleeping poorly, they double the amount of sick days they take. Their performance is 30% less at work. Their relationships are impacted upon. They have more workplace accidents. There's a lot more car accidents. So if I could improve so 50,000 people sleeping poorly worked out that there's a $2.5 billion cost to the economy. $2.5 billion. So, the idea of contributing to that space where people aren't just becoming more productive, they're going home at the end of the day and they've got so much more to give to their loved ones. Wellness is you getting stronger through the day and not just feeling burdened going home and your family gets whatever's left over.
Yes.
Breath work gives you a chance to nourish and strengthen those unseen parts so that we can give the best of us to those closest to us. And if all I had to do to give the best of me to my loved ones was to stop every now and then and breathe, would I do it?
I think my biggest takeaway here, one of the biggest, the breathwork, yes, that's number one. But the other one was the pyramid, because the
Sorry, Nick,
bigger
just
your,
lean a bit closer to the mic. You're a bit faint.
yeah, the pyramid. It was the pyramid. That's one of my biggest takeaway from our interview today. Oh my God, my eyes are like half sleepy. They're like,
Let's go.
we're gonna wrap this up. Yeah, but I just want to let you know and let the listeners know that my biggest takeaway was the pyramid, where because the higher your goals are, the wider your base has to be to support that, right? And that the base is rest, recover, and
Recovery and the healing art forms.
eat.
Just like you've got a unique performance that you bring into the world, the gift that you want to bring into the world, and what really returns you a good investment, you find the things that give you a good investment on your rest and recovery. Some people like walking barefoot. Some people like breath work. Some people like patting their dogs, but sleep is usually in there. Sleep has to be in there. So that's my contribution to, because once you get out of that fatigue, you start seeing a bit more clearly. Here's all the other things I can be adding in, and they're actually contributing. I'm not actually doing nothing on my day off. I'm building the top of the pyramid. With me doing nothing and relaxing and letting myself be still, the top of my pyramid is just growing, 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 which is quite counter to our normal idea of I've got to fight, work
Yeah.
hard, and bleed from the
Yes.
eyeballs. It's the sweat of my brow that gets this done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's a time and a place to work hard, that this country was made great by pushing yourself. And I don't think you'll ever find your potential without pushing yourself. But do not forget the bottom of the pyramid, because it is just a timer. You start a timer for when you hit burnout, when you're cashing in your tomorrows to live today. And fun fact, I've given my word to living to 150. I told my son that. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's the 4-minute mile. No one's told me. Everyone says it's impossible until it's actually
Yeah.
done. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be the guy that does it, and then everyone's going, "Oh, it's possible." You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, so my bed is like calling. I'm calling towards my bed right now. Okay, Tim. You're if
He
you
put
could
me to sleep. It was such an interesting podcast. I had to fall asleep.
No, but it's a paradox, right? Like everything's a paradox today. Like you want to go out there, you want to hit, because I have a goal as well. I want to hit, but then I have to make sure that I'm resting and relaxing and recovering and healing in the best way. And I've made some major life changes in my life the past 4 months, and right now I've settled down. I'm back to the nature city. I'm back to my parents' house, and I'm used to be in KL, city, and now in fact, today I ran. So, and now with the breath work, after speaking to you, this is perfect. Like, it's like I got the pack for me to, okay, Nick, this is what you need to do your work, to carry out your mission. So, Tim, the last question for you: if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience and the world as your legacy, what would it?
I will give the quote that the ancient Chinese have been saying for thousands of years. If you can control your breath, you can control everything.
You guys heard it here live. You've just heard an inspiring journey and incredible wisdom from Tim. Thank you for sharing the work you're doing, Tim, to uplift others and make a lasting impact. Despite the challenges, you're paving the way for others, and your dedication is a true testament to resilience and purpose. Now, and for our listeners, this has been another thought provoking episode of Your Wordless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you've ever felt worthless, know this: you're not alone. But here's the deeper truth: if you were truly worthless, why would your soul choose to be here in this exact moment in this lifetime? Your soul traveled from the infinite not just to exist, but to matter. And for that reason alone, you are worthy. And with that, I'd like to thank Tim Thomas for joining us today and to all of you for listening. Until next time, I'm Nick Niaras, your host. Keep shining, keep growing, and remember, you are worthy and you are enough. See you in the next episode. Thank you, Tim, for your time and this incredible breath work.
Love this episode? Now, transformation doesn't end here. Head on to @holistic.lifestyle_with_Nick. That is on my Instagram. Or head on to my website, www.deniarasholisticlifestyle.com for more info on my coaching framework, which is the Worthy, Authentic, and Abundant Framework, digital guides, and my upcoming events such as retreats and master classes and workshops. Now, I also do intuitive readings where we get to check on your soul path. And if you're also wanting to check on your energetic alignment, I have done that too. And I offer that kind of services. So